Hi everybody, this is Flash Trasman back with another episode of Suzerain. I think I introduced this last week as Sordland. I was listening back to it thinking, did I say Sordland? Oh, Chapter 3. Victim of Changes. Yeah, I'm really the victim is, hopefully it's not me. Right, where do we leave it? We got the Constitution past the National Assembly, but we didn't get past the Supreme Court. So now we've turned our anti-corruption police onto it, our anti-corruption unit onto the old guard. The economy's still pants, and we've got no money. We've got no personal wealth, rather. Revelations. Ooh. Okay, let's see if this. I've just tried to record it and it crashed at this point. Well, on my first attempt, so let's hopefully see if we can get past this point. Loading. That's further than we got last time. Come on, game. Here we go, we're in. Woohoo! Let's have a look what's going on in the world around us. Right. Okay, we've got two news items. Geopolitical. Queen Beatrice demands reparations for century-old war crimes. Brought up the Sordland incident of the 15th, igniting the forgotten century-old debate of Sordland war crimes. She spoke about the need for peace and change in Eastern Macopia. Claimed the Sordland army in 1870 had massacred ethnic groups with plans of committing genocide. Sordland still hasn't claimed any responsibility for their past war crimes, and the Queen demanded reparation to be paid. Hundreds killed in Hedgeland. Riots in Hedgeland resulted in the arrest of thousands. Number of deaths is believed to have been surpassed 100. Oh God, yeah. We united with them to protect us against them, but in hindsight, they're going to drag us into a war with them. Yeah, we know about that. It's just it's more propaganda, more excuses for them to declare war on us. If we're not careful, we could become tied into a two-way war. Yeah, that could be quite messy, that could actually. Okay, what's happening up here? Massive miscommunication between the interior and gendarme resulted in a failed investigation. The Ministry of Defence and the interior both blame each other. There will be gathering soon to resolve an ongoing dispute within security. This is a set event. This happened in my first playthrough, so this is a set event. So I know what this is. I know what this is. That's a set event that always pops up. Here we go. Oh no! Departure of the President from home. Okay. It was a cloudy, rainy day in household. The gloomy weather echoed my own feelings. My constitutional changes had been defeated. I was back to square one. I couldn't spend the day moping, however. Frank was finally about to leave home. My son piled the last of his boxes next to the door. The surgeon and assistant driver were waiting outside next to the car. Did you pack everything? Don't forget to give me a call immediately after you arrive. Mom, I'm moving less than an hour away. You'll see me all the time. I know, but it won't be the same. Monica helped him put his backpack on while Serge started carrying the luggage to the car. I made you a sack lunch. I'll get it from the kitchen. What's a sack lunch? Do you think that's meant to say pack lunch? She dashed down the hall. Frank and I turned to face each other in the doorway, so I guess this is it. Yeah, let's not say that's a bit harsh, that. Thanks. He shifted away nervously. I haven't forgotten what you told me about university years. I hope Holsford State gives me a chance to prove myself in the same way you did. I hope, for your sake, I hope that chance never comes. Just don't do anything stupid. Yeah, I say don't model you off on mine. You're on your man now. Right, Dad. At the moment, Diana rushed to the door. Frank. I'm going to miss you. I'll miss you too. Don't forget you've got to give Mum and Dad an extra hard time for the both of us now. Beat to this thing over a big hug. Monica appeared in the doorway holding the paper bag. I cut off the crust off your sandwich just the way you used to like it. I'm not kidding anymore. She braced him to the eyes. Frank looked as if he was about to cry as well. Serge approached. Sir, as per schedule, Frank needs to be at Holsford State University for the start of the orientation in an hour. We will have to leave now. Leave that. We'll have to leave now to make it. Thank you, Serge. Good luck. Difficult to see them go up, isn't it? It's like what it's filmed sort of empty now. That isn't the one. That isn't the only thing that won't be the same. Living away from home, making their own choices for the first time, it changes a man. I think it will be a liberating experience for them. It's never easy for boys to live in the shadow of their fathers, and it must be even harder when one's father is Anton Rayne, a great man like you cast a very long shadow. Another one thinks that well said. His watch, time to go. And they're on the way. There he goes. We stab each other. Okay, with the defeat of your reforms, I hope you will be alright. Wait a few minutes, even after the car was no longer in sight. Okay, yeah. Oh, we've got personal off back. We needed that a while ago. We needed that before increased personal off. Why? I needed that a while ago. That could have got our reforms thing. Right, this is going to be the hard one. Right, I know what I'm going with. I think, like I said, this is a template that we're going on. Vaxland naval ships steered a dozen soldier cargo ships out of their ship lines this week, heading for the Maritime Safety Organisation to change sea routes. The new path United Container on occasion is twice as long, but avoids potential contact with the Vaxland Navy. The Swordlish Navy Admiral called the Vaxland actions reckless and the potential threat to civil lines due to high risk of collisions. Ooh, they're stepping up a little bit. Okay. Right. Report from Sword. Discuss the past new law increasing yearly salaries of elected officials, including the President of Sordland. That's nice of them. Geopolitical. Reports from Mercury show the tensions in the region is all-time high after deployment of the Agnolian Navy on Holsworth to contest the patrolling Vaxlandian fleet in base house colliding with each other on several occasions so far. In one incident, a Vaxland destroyer said to have fired at an Agnolian cruiser. Say that reports that 4 of their sea vessels have been blocked and harassed by the Vaxlandian fleet. Yeah, Navy isn't strong enough. Lisa and I sat waiting for Peter. I sat at my desk. He was on the sofa legs crossed. So I have some news for you. Mr. Hall and I have been working on several possible plans to boost the economy as is our focus. He's currently compiling a very detailed report with suggested projects. I'll make sure you have a chance to see it soon. See what again looks like, Mr. Vice President. Is like yet another time. I heard his voice. I'm slightly concerned about Peter. He seems to have his mind occupied. He's been late almost at every meeting we've had recently. I noticed he only talked to me private. I know Peter was nothing to be concerned about. Yeah, I don't appreciate this either. Suddenly there was a knock at the door. He walked inside with files in both hands. Gentlemen, why are you so late? We were stuck in traffic on Sol Square. The old gaggle of ladies trying to organise a legal march. We had to wait for the police to show up. He placed files on my table, took out 7 documents and organised them in front of me. Here's everything just as you ask. Our plans for our next reforms. You can use the presidential decrees to enact reforms now. We have enough political capital. I've bought a list of suggested reforms from our party. What are your thoughts, Anton? Do I? I'm not sure what I do personally, so let's go with that one. I've got some ideas, none of them are politically democratic or palatable. So let's move swiftly on. I took a look at the documents. Oh, blimey. Fair trade and commerce in Sordland has few regulatory measures resulting in unfair competition at times. A new Fair Trade Commission could be established via decree to push for fair market competition by protecting local industries from new regulations. Gender equality in education. Different classes of curriculum for genders, so a new decree could provide gender equality in the education system by reverting to amnesty for Australia political prisoners. waiting for their life sentences in prisons like Antel Rock. President pardon agrees for all political prisoners could see arbitrary persecute activists and wealth on thought leaders regain their freedom. Desalinization is at every facet of society, from portrait statues and name dotting every possible spot. Can begin desalinization process to remove the court personality has been established around the second president. Oh, I'm not sure about that. I'd like to do that, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh, look at some of this. This kind of gives you a hint at. This gives you a hint at what other way you can go in earlier games to get to this point. That kind of suggests. If you guys have played it and got to this, how do you get to that point? Because I wonder, how do you get to that point? I'm not going to do it immediately after this playthrough, but I am going to do another playthrough at some point of trying to get to pure dictator. I'd love to see how you get to that point. Like I say, I'm probably not going to do a playthrough immediately afterwards because I've got a couple of other things that I want to cover. But anyway, we will come back to it, and I will go for the whole full-on dictator route. Anyway, Sordland lacks. We can't do that. It's government budget. That's for, let's see, education institutes. Allow private prisons. Everyone funded by Team Minister. A decree would pass to allow private companies to construct and operate prisons for profit. Freedom of speech is protected by Sordland, but with the rise of new private media organisations gain a massive influence on society. With a new degree, create a government agency that could protect the independence of media or control it. Okay. Where do we go? Select 3 laws to the. Can I not get any advice on any of them? Or we could go proper Sal, but who's that going to release now? That's good for the government budget. A new decree would allow all citizens. Yeah, I like that because that's. I don't know. I'd like to do that, but that could. I don't know. I don't know who that could release, to be honest with you. I'm not sure that could anger the. I'm not sure if we're ready for that yet. We can't afford that. We can't afford that. Is it the SRSC that could protect the independence of the media or control it? Yeah, but I don't like that or control it bit. A new federal commission that could be established via decree to push for a fair market competition while protecting local industries through new regulations. Cover that. Yes. If you had to less about discussion, the Federal Commission was essentially dealing with monopolies. It's time we establish a body that regulates economic competition, and there's privatisation of prisons. That's got to be controversial. At least it will lift a burden from the government. He sat home and looked at it as he was trying to figure out which words to use. It is also great that we'll be given free medicine. Our poor regions definitely suffer from a lack of it. However, it will be a massive burden on our government budget. It will be very difficult to build infrastructure in order to provide medicine equality and equally and efficiently. Thankfully, this policy will reflect well on the vote, especially the report if it's executed correctly. Yeah, I agree. Well, we both respect your decision. Well, I've clearly made the wrong ones. Now that's settled, I should get to work. We'll catch up soon. I would have liked more advice on what to do from these guys on that one. Maybe I should have gone. I've got a few ideas myself. We have 6 more minutes. Well, let's call it here. Thank you both. Ooh, nothing handled that well. Anyway, let's have a look at this one then. Fair to record, short, unchecked. Arcasian capitalism doesn't take away access equality. Well, higher quality products being produced in the Swedish market. Okay, they like that. Radical. Medicine's fully free. Okay. Prisoner do. Reach possibilities for 5 provisions. Government gets the government budget back on track. A schedule visit to do. Pleased to be too drunk. Okay, this is This is our next important meeting is with this lot as well. And he's too drunk to get off the plane. That's worrying. Let's have a scout about. Yeah, I just think we get into the crux of the game coming up. I think. What's this about? Commercial activity reports. The company's got a record number of new companies being founded in Galsord. Economic boom. That's good. I saw another news article. That'd be good. It's reported that his efforts to modernise Air Force is complete. According to his report, our existing 410 Sordland S13 fighters and Benfield delivery B-34 bombers have been upgraded. With our latest tech, S-16 fighter jets and Benfield prime delivery BPD-36 bombers, the new bombers have increased range, speed and bomb payload, along with more sophisticated radar and radio guidance assisted targets the night heavens. So basically our Air Force is up to speed. Good. Trade talks. Okay, there we go. Alright, hang on, let me screw. I've got a drink here. After a long whistle, marine train. After a long whistle, marine train slowly started to move. The train had been in service for many years. It had 9 locomotives with their special quarters and an office. As the name implied, it was painted in a bright maroon colour. With the flashes and cheers, we departed Holford Central train station. Our destination was Pearl, capital of Lesbia. The historic route we were using was called the Southern Express. We passed the Lesbia mountain range to the lowlands with a short stop at beautiful Sordland, while Lesbian security forces joined us. Look out the window. The difference between the Vagland and Suzerain was extraordinary. I heard a knock on the door, and the trainer Simon entered. Mr. President, have a seat. He sat down on the chair in front of my desk. I want to have a chat about Prime Minister Alvarez and give you a heads up. There have been some rumours about his demeanour in public appearances. Go on. He is known to have met other state leaders while intoxicated on various occasions. Some even called him an alcoholic. Is this something to affect the trade deal? Some McConnell's drink. He should be fine. I've dealt with this and that before. Honestly, I don't know. He handed me a newspaper. Circling over Sordland. We've just read it, haven't we? Which one was it? Was it the geopolitics? Yeah, here we go. At the schedule, Alvarez is planted on an airport. Officials reported that it was circling over the Stalport. After circling for 2 hours, the plane landed, but Alvarez did not come out. Last been officials informed Van Houten. Alvarez was unwell, and the phone missing would join instead. That's very strange behaviour. This happened just yesterday. Apparently he was so drunk that he couldn't get off the plane on a diplomatic visit. After the incident, some say he's unfit to serve, but I don't know. I don't believe that at all. Why is that? His presidency is riddled with these kinds of instances. I've also heard he's a shrewd man. Thanks for me giving the heads up. I'm sure we'll be fine. Almost at Pearl, I will return to my cabin. So basically we need to be careful. Very well. I'll see you when you arrive. When we arrive, rather. A few minutes later, a long whistle. The train came to stop and I waved to the crowd from the window. Lots of reporters that flocked over were pushed away by lesbian security guards. We made our way to our cars. The convoy began its short trip to the Yellow House. The Yellow House was situated in the very centre of Perla in the middle of a circular park which was off limits to regular citizens. The park was full of roses on small patches. The convoy came to a stop. I made my way to the entrance. The assistants directed me to a room to wait for Prime Minister Alvarez. Wait. And we wait in an exquisite room with golden chandeliers. Very nice. I waited for 10 minutes. There was no sign of Prime Minister Alvarez. It's almost time for our meeting. My chair started feeling uncomfortable. I stood up and walked around to look at the various items in the room. A beautiful gold teapot piqued my interest. Leave it alone. I sat back in my chair, opened the door. President Alvarez entered. Though I knew that he was one of the youngest state leaders in the world right now, I was still surprised how young he looked. Yes, I think there's a few writing notes in this because that don't sound right. Anyway, I was surprised at how long he looked at his young. Anyway, at his young age, he wasn't the leader. Let's read that again. At his young age, he wasn't the leader for not just any state. He was leading one of the strongest countries in Eastern Macopia. He was holding his head like he had a headache and was still mumbling. Upon seeing me, he immediately composed himself. We shook hands. He gestured towards one or two couches and we sat down face to face. President Rayne, welcome to Perla. Good to have you here. I've heard a lot about your success. Yep. I smell a strong odor of alcohol. Don't say anything. Let's begin then. So, you're here for the trade deal. What was it about again? Can you remind me? I think he's very shrewd. We want soldiers we return for lesbian capital. Ah, yes, right. Sorry, I've just been very busy lately. We know being a president. Yeah, you know being a president makes you pretty busy. So I don't have any issues with this deal. There's one problem. He smirked. Well, since you defend the border while Smollett committed, you all kinds diverted all those refugees to here. We have a full-blown refugee crisis in Lesbia. I've got a hard line crisis. I've got an alcohol crisis, mate, so get over it. Which unfortunately means the price has gone up, Mr. Rayne. Yeah, tell me what you want, Mr. Alvarez. One thing that anyone could possibly ever want from Welland. I want their oil. I'm listening. A lot of oil from Welland is passing through Sordland. And Sordland Petroleum owns most of the oil trade in Sordland. Do you see where I'm going with that? Enlighten me, because I don't. Enlighten me. I want you to sell me Sordland Petroleum or the deal is off. Ooh. You're a very shrewd man, Mr. Alvarez. There's no way I can do that. And thank you for coming this far for the visit to Perla. He started to make way to the door. Nope, let him go. Let's hear him just escorted me. That didn't go well. Oh well. That didn't go well at all. It was a dark, chilly evening when Peter called and asked if we could meet. He gave no detail. All he said was it's important. I drove through whole sort of suburbs until I reached a meeting point. Then 147 Ruark Avenue, number 26, our old campaign headquarters. Untouched since the night of election. This is where everything began. I made way up the dusty staircase of the office building, and the light of the second floor was out. I used a cigarette lighter to find my way to the wooden door, marked 26. I pulled on the handle. It wouldn't budge. The heavy door has always been a pain to open. Coming. Peter pushed the door with all his weight, and it made a screeching sound as it opened. Without much further, I bid you welcome to this grand nostalgia trip, hosted by yours truly, Peter Recton. He made an exaggerated bow. The dust from the opening door was still settling down. Feeling sentimental yet? Not really, it's just an office. Well, I am overflowing with nostalgia. Come over here. Remember this? He walked over to his old desk and pointed to the gramophone that had annoyed our neighbours and kept his company with semi-night nights. Peter flicked the switch and it filled the room with swinging music from the 20s. I'll be damned, it still works. Are you going to tell me why you're here? In a bit. He put his hand on the desk and brought a bottle out. He took a swig from it, out of it, and passed the bottle to me. No, thank you. Come on, Anton, I insist. I'll drink, what the hell. That's my boy. Had his fingers to the music. While going through the items in the room, it looked virtually unchanged since election night. Cool, let's look around, see if it brings back any memories. I'm looking over desk drawers. A few coins, pencil, sheets of paper underneath there, something, something caught my eye. There's a photograph of me, Monica, sitting under a tree. This must have been 10 or maybe 15 years ago. We look so young and happy. Monica would have loved to see this. Nice fine. Look at baby Anton. You didn't even have your iconic look. Take the photograph. Of course I'm going to take the photograph. Go through the storage boxes. I found a heavy object, wrapped safely, unwrapped it. It was emerald coloured statue of a goat, the symbol of Sordland. I remember it was a gift from Brenda, one of the 53 election campaign assistants. It would look on good desk. It would look good on the desk of my pallet in the palace. Brenda, she always looking up to you. And where did it get her? Seriously, where? I have no idea where she ended up. Take the statue. Go through the records and the gramophone. Find my favourite albums ever. Mountains of Janet Gers, a set of plaintive folk songs. Maybe Year for the Countryside, when have I heard it? What a classic. You should mail that to Frank so we can learn what real music is. Take the record. Of course I'm taking it. Enough of gone through stuff, let's talk. Yes, all in good time. He gestured to the bottle he had in his hand. No, I'm good. He shrugged, took a big gulp out of the bottle and exaggerated and staggered to the side afterwards. I know you, Peter, what are you hiding? Nothing, let's get to the roof, the view is amazing from there. We went upstairs to the roof. The view was memorised in the buildings of wholesale twinkle blowers while the stars shone brightly in the sky. We sat back and leaned against the wall, taking it all in. Right, I was starting to get up. Right as I was starting to get up, I heard a sobbing sound. I turned to Peter and saw tears streaming down his cheeks. What's wrong? I messed up big time. Evelyn's leaving me, she wants a divorce. What the hell did you do? Because he's I've been sleeping. Just my secretary. Yep. This happened in the last playthrough. Again, if you guys have played this through and have done it, you tell me if this happens, because this happened in playthrough number 1 as well, and I wonder whether it's a scripted event or it's just happening because of the choices I've made earlier. I'm being intrigued to know. What you've been what? Yeah. No secretary, but I'm so sorry. It's just Evelyn hasn't been the same since she lost her job. And Olivia gives me the sultry looks from the day I hired her. You were aware I was drunk. One of those things led to another. But she's more than a pretty girl, Anton. She's smart and kind. I think we're really connected. You're an idiot. No, no need to justify men will be men after all. How could you do this to me? I like her. That doesn't mean I'd break my vows and risk this scandal for a bit of horizontal polo. How could you do this to me? No, I know, but we're ending things. I told her it was unprofessional. I want Evelyn back. From home then, maybe I can speak to Evelyn and plead your case. It's too late, but there's still a chance you could get out of this. And there's still a chance this could get out. I need to talk to Lucien. It's one of these two. I need to talk to Lucien first. Anton, please, I'm begging you. I think he took another drink. How many years have we known each other? How many scrapes have we gotten ourselves out of? I can handle this, just trust me. I turned to face my friend and vice president. Habits had gotten him dubbed the bad boy of Swedish politics. When we were young, so let's start again. The habits that had gotten him dubbed the bad boy of Swedish politics when we were young were no longer so charming coming from a middle-aged man. Yeah, he was still a capable politician. I couldn't ignore a long history together. Alright, it's just an effect, it's all over like that. We can weather this, you've done enough damage, I'll handle it myself. Where do we go with this? Because he is a liability, he's been less than helpful on several occasions. I'll handle it myself. Without waiting for his reaction, I left the rooftop alone and made way downstairs. On my way out, I grabbed my belongings, took one last look back at the office. I had been home with so many happy memories for sure, but this visit had permanently cured me of any nostalgia. As soon as I arrived home, I headed to my study, sat down and stared at the phone. Called Lisa and tell her what happened. Yes, Mr. President. I told Lisa everything Peter had told me about himself, Evelyn and Olivia. Thank you for calling, Mr. President. This serves to confirm some suspicions of my own. We have to meet. Right now. Tomorrow morning at your office early before either of the two arrive. Don't miss it with anyone else. I fear we may have more than a mere dalliance on our hands. The line dropped. I stared at the receiver, wondering what the last statement meant, what was going on that I didn't know about. I went to bed, but couldn't sleep at all. Again, this is another scripted event that happened to me in the last one, so again, I'd be intrigued to know what experience you guys have had. I'm not complaining about it, it's great. I'm just wondering whether it's a case of it's happening because of the choices I've made, as opposed to it's a scripted event that happens whatever you do. So I'm curious to know. What your experiences are, because I've been intrigued. Obviously, it's happened. What's happening now? It's happened in the last playthrough, but I suspect because I've made a similar choice to what I made last time. But anyway, you get what I'm trying to say, don't you? Please say you do. Anyway, I digress. Right. Let's start of the day. It was early in the morning. After my talk with Peter, the sun was just beginning to peek over the horizons. The moon palace was empty, save for a few cleaning staff. I entered my office to find Lucian already waiting for me. Mr. President, thank you for meeting with me at this hour. I couldn't sleep anyway. Very well, I'm pleased that you chose to call me after your conversation with Mr. Vector last night, although I was already aware of his illicit relationship with Miss Suna. How did you find out? I'll get to that. On its own, given Mr. Vector's established reputation as something of a playboy, his affair is unlikely to cause much damage. However, a more troubling possibility has been brought to light. A recent conversation with Mr. Halstead and our whistleblower from Rumburg revealed the presence of a spy within the Marine Palace. Ooh. I believe Miss Suna is our mole. She has been using a relationship with Mr. Vector to gather information. Tell me more. I can do better than that. I can do better than that. I can show you. Lucian reached into his coat pocket, pulled out an audio tape and fed it into the reel-to-reel machine on my desk. This was recorded in the palace at 1809 on the second day of your trade visit to Lesbia. I pressed play and I heard Peter and Olivia's voice. You sure everyone's gone for the day? Relax, Liv. Nobody's working that hard with the President stuck up your arse off to Lesbia. Ooh. Livia giggled. I heard sounds of kissing and drinks being poured. I'm glad you stayed behind. Did he tell you how it's going over there? Do you think there's a chance they'll form an alliance? No, it doesn't seem like it, although they've still got a shot with the superpowers. There's talk of a possible cooperation. There'll be enough work talk soon. I want you bent over my desk now. Oh, blimey. Lucian grimaced and switched off the tape. This is indeed cause of concern. I'm glad you agree. And that's not all I found. Her resume on file, there's a year-long gap between her finishing secondary school and beginning her career. Normally this would have been looked into, but Miss Suna was hired before a background check could be completed by one Peter Vector. Just a loud knock on the door. Olivia opened it cautiously. Good, Mr. President, Mr. Gallard, I didn't realise you'd been so early. Can I get you some coffee? Coffee would be great, actually. Olivia left to make coffee. Minutes later, she came back with 2 cups. Please just have a seat. Olivia looked puzzled. Is it something's the matter? Enough pretending your secret is out. I'm not sure what you're talking about. You know perfectly well. And I'm so surprised that I was foolish and Peter was so nice to me. It's over now. Nobody ever needs to know. That's not what the President means, Miss Senior. Miss Suna, we're referring to you being an intelligence agent for Rumberg. She sat upright and looked shocked. Pardon, Miss Gallard, but are you feeling alright? Don't play dumb, Olivia, if that's your real name. Use fine what you have to say for yourself, because I understand if you don't want me to keep my job, but smear me with outlandish accusations. Indulge me for a moment. What were you doing in the year 1951? Her face flushed. If you must know, I was working as a cigarette girl at Porto's. It's a whole Lockhaven salon. I was saving up so I could afford my own place in Solsword. Here's the proprietor's number if you need to double check. She scribbled on a telephone number on a piece of paper. Lucian snatched it up. Why are you asking so many questions? Well, I can't remember that particular point there. Or what I do. To tell you the truth, I was hoping for myself someday. I want to make real difference to the world. I don't believe that. Guess I messed this up by getting involved with Peter. Now you're just going to say I slept with my way. They're all just going to say I slept my way to the top. And you're questioning off Peter about Sordland's potential alliances. I told you. Wait, how do you know about that? There's a lad pounding on the door. Peter barged in without waiting for an answer. He was unshaven and wore the same clothes as the night before. Came here as soon as I heard the of you were in here. Anton, what the hell are you doing? I told you this was under control. Sit down and shut up. Yeah, exactly. Took a seat, found the sofa. He looked over and noticed her troubled expression. Godwine Valverde, this is my mess. She did nothing wrong. She says, "Spy Peter, you missed up big time." I what? I have reason to believe she's relaying information to Rumberg, information that you leaked to her in your carelessness. Lucian rewound the tape and played it again. As Peter listened, his eyes widened in disbelief. You've been bugging my office. Obviously for good reason. He looked on. I can't blame him either. He's probably got me booked as well. I noticed the Vice President's behaviour becoming increasingly erratic and unprofessional over past months. I wanted to get to the root of the cause. So you white-tapped your goddamn colleague, and for what? Have you been getting off on this, you pervert? Clearly not. I believe that along with Rumberg, whistleblower's admission that there's a spy in the palace and certain gaps in Miss Suna's resume, this tape makes a compelling case to investigate the Secretary for Espionage. Whether or not the investigation yields positive results, and Mr. Vecton ought to be held accountable for his willingness to divulge such sensitive information. He ought to stand trial or at least resign. I agree. His jaws dropped. If I may, Mr. President, I've been paying attention to what goes on in the palace, not because I'm sort of double agent, out of genuine interest, hard as it may believe, Mr. Gallard. She scowled at Lucian. He turned back to me. From what I've seen, this man has been attempting to undermine your Vice President at every turn. Perhaps the goal of replacing Peter himself, but then, yeah, I should try to get rid of him ages ago if I'd had the opportunity, because he's not very good. Nonetheless, he's been nothing but loyal to you, true, but you can understand me. Lucian frowned. My personal misgivings about Mr. Vector aside, I will never do anything that will harm this administration. I believe that. Mr. Vector, on the hand, as a best committed adulterer and at worst, delivered state secrets straight into the enemy's hands. Who can I believe? What are we going to do? What are you going to do? Perhaps Ocean wrestled Olivia. You're the strategist, man, not me. You make the call. On the side to fight. I'm not investing in my secretary. Yeah, I believe trust you. I believe you trust me, Mr. Victor. What will we do about his willingness to compromise solar skirt to drop off a pencil skirt? Peter, what any man would do. You understand if you went to a colic. I think he should resign. Just keep in mind you may need him to shoulder the blame for this. Absolutely. Apologise. I'll apologise to Suzerain and tell her that this has been a misunderstanding. We can't live all in way during the investigation. You don't. Thank you. Very well, sir. Gave a brief bow and left the office. I sat by myself wondering what exactly I had set in motion. Okay then. This is ramped up a little bit. Results of the affair scandal. So there's suspense since I'd ordered the investigation into my secretary Livia Suna. Both Peter and Olivia had acted unnaturally nice to me, believing that I'd let them off the hook for their affair. They seemed to be avoiding each other in the hallways though. I just settling in behind my desk when Lucian knocked on the door. A certain moment of your time. Of course. Lucian entered my office and closed the door behind him. Our security team travelled like Haven to speak to the owners of the pub Miss Luna named. They confirmed that one Livia Suna had worked there. The description of her did not match that of your secretary. However, it did match that of an unidentified corpse that had washed up in Lenkirk Bay 2 months before your inauguration. So basically, they bumped off the real Livia Suna and replaced her with whoever she is. If that was Livia Suna, who's the woman working for me? Oh, yep, that's more like it. Further investigation by our operatives in Mumbai matched missing description to a woman named Ileana Vance, last seen graduating from Crimsrad Political Sciences Institute. A whistleblower from Mumbai recognised the name Vance as belonging to a deeply embedded covert agent, although he had previously assumed it was a man. Yep. Now what we're going to do, sir? Yeah, I could do that. I think I should do. By some procedure, we should try Miss Luna for treason. If we do so, for the media piece together what happened. Easy, I'll get Marcel on it. I'd look a fool for having under my nose the entire time. Get Marcel on it. Would be advisable, but you'll still have to affair multi-crisis management yourself. His actions were problematic. That's my fault as much as his. I should have suspected something. I know what you think. This is my fault. Yep. For it is an understatement. Expecting put you in danger by failing to order a background check on your closest personal staff. You betrayed your confidence to a woman with whom he has committed adultery. Anton, this will be. Would you diss your so-called best friend? No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. No, Chief says I advise you on what I believe is the best strategy, but of course the ultimate decision is yours. Peter will be our scapegoat. Very well, I should consult with our friend Mr. Comrati and write a statement for you to read to the press. I'll leave you to handle Miss Vance. With pleasure. I walked out. I called Greiser from my desk and explained the situation. A few minutes I rang Lydia. She entered my office. There's something you need, Mr. President. You tell me, Eliana. You tell me. A barely perceptible flash of fear crossed her face. Olivia, my name is Olivia. I nodded towards my office doorway. Carl Grice was standing there along with two of his guards blocking the entrance. Liana Vance, you're under the arrest of suspicion of treason. Please come with me. Her eyes darted around the room. What the hell is going on, Mr. President? You have let Lucian get to your head. I thought you were smarter than that. You're going to pay for your lies. You're going to pay for what you thought I wouldn't trust my class advisor. You're the stupid one. Carl's men grabbed her arms and began dragging her out. No, you can't do this to me. Yes, I can, dear. Peter, hearing her cries, rushed into the office. What the hell, Liv? What in the hell, Anton? What's going on? Her name's Anna. Lucian was right about her. She's a spy. Does it tell Peter who you really are? You can't be true. You can't live. I won't say another word without a lawyer, President. Peter looked her square in the eye. Except this, you're a sad old drunk and a lousy lay. Ooh, harsh. I was a woman because by bed after to do anything. You two have Sordland right for the taking. She straightened up and ran a hand through her curls and allowed Carl to lead her away. Anton, what the hell? Yep. I'll turn the office. Feel free to take a moment first. Once Peter in the office, I shut the door and explained everything he said to someone about Lydia. And you believed him, well, better safe than so special as what she called me. At least we finally have this all around us. Let's go with one of the country, shall we? No, that's not. Yeah, what is it? I want you to resign. Looked at me, expression was numb. I guess I deserve this, don't I? No, but you need someone to. No, but we need someone to take the fall for the scandal that administration suffers. It is so I could see tears in his eyes. I'm sorry, Anton, I was never cut out for this job. You really weren't, but at least you got a nice ass after the deal. You did great, son, just not ready for a price like you yet. Stroke his ego. It was fun while it lasted. Yes, you got to stroke his ego. Don't patronise me. No, didn't. I've got to prepare for the press conference on session. You do the same. Alright, I'll get the message, but first. He grabbed a bottle of Eloy Marine 30 from the shelf behind my desk. To new beginnings. He done a third of the bottle in one long swig, then got to his feet and steadily made his way to the door. I knew that news was the best, but I hope my friend will be alright. Okay, I've just sacked my vice president. Okay, that's a security breached. Political overview. What do we do for vice president then? That's gonna be. I've got an idea. I wonder if the game will let me do that though. State courthouse for Sordland. It was the morning of Livia's trial, and hordes of reporters that were gathered in front of the state courthouse. Peter, Lisa and I stood by the entrance. Lisa had helped break the news of my secretary's arrest. Now the media were beginning to question exactly how one big double agent had been able to infiltrate the Royal Palace. It was time for me to deliver an explanation. A podium with a bank of microphones awaited us, and the courthouse steps. Peter looked uncertain. I told him I would do all the talking today. Remember what we talked about, Mr. President? How can I forget I was going to blame my best friend for a scandal that would otherwise shatter my administration? Peter hadn't said a word to me since I'd broke the news to him in my office. Together we stepped down the podium. My reporters clustered around us, all started shouting questions. Thank you for coming. I said, sure, as you've seen, former Secretary President Sordland is currently waiting trial for treason. Lydia Vance, one big spy. If President Rayne company excludes a real name. Russia ensures a traitor should be brought to justice. Russia should rumble were made to answer for the latest affront to our great country. I should have asked whether that was the wrong one to make. However, the fact remains that she should never have been allowed to infiltrate our administration in the first place. Yep. That she did come to be direct trace to our carelessness of. Ooh, which one do we go to? Let's go on that one. Gas room with pizza interface with his mouth hanging open. Mr. Victor's willingness to put his own infantile desires, Mr. Rayne's recklessness to say nothing of behaviour, his portrayal of Sordland's values has been disgraced by administration. Ooh. Yeah, I wouldn't have gone this harsh on him, but you know. Therefore, the Vice President will be trialled for his shameful actions against, and he found guilty. Ooh, I'm not doing that. Therefore, the President has tendered resignation effective immediately. Clam as the reporters go louder. Peter seems to sink behind the podium, his charisma failing at last. That's it then, no going back from this. The reports were becoming hard to ignore. One woman in front row looked particularly insistent. Mr. Vecton. I'll answer all the questions on the Vice President's behalf. Mr. President Rayne, you were going to imply that Mr. Vecton and the covert agent were present as his secretary were engaged in intimate relations. Yes. Were you aware when this when it was happening? No. The President or the Vice President will take any more questions. Thank you. The reporter reluctantly dispersed. Peter and I looked at each other for what seemed like a 30. Finally, Peter lowered his eyes. I guess I'll go to the bus and start packing my things then. Goodbye, Peter. I watched President Peter descend from the courthouse stairs to his car alone. A shame about your firm, Mr. President, but it appears you will make it out of this unscathed. Good. Of course, that's not a matter of placing your secretary or vice president. I have a few candidates in mind. Very good, sir. We walked back up the stairs to the car to watch the rest of the trial. Blimey. Codex entry about old Peter Vecton. That was a bit of a change of pace. Yeah, we know about that. Spy scandal. President incident spy scandal. What's more? But I was responsible for both hiring and disclosing sensitive information to her. Okay, looks like I've got being spy scandal, blame on Vecton. I think we've got away with that one, I think. Let's have a quick look on what's going on around us. Let's keep an eye on what time it is. Where are we? Briefing on women's rights situation. I wish I don't want. Oh, look at that! Look at that! The economy's changed. Look! Woo! Woo! Look at that! The economy's changing. Let's do that one first. Looked over the desk. Down from my appointment with Carol on women's rights. There was a knock on the door. She entered the room. Door closed behind. Did not close behind the Monica. Entered the room and stood next to Carol. Oh, blimey! I chose the wrong conversation to have. And Tom, before we start, I want to thank you for agreeing to this meeting. I've been dreaming about this ever since I volunteered with the Swordsman League of Women. I can't believe the moment's finally here. Yep, I thought real changes require careful, considered plans. We did. Carol sat down on her chair and laid the folder out before she was holding. We have a long way to go before such women are able to enjoy the same rights as privileges as men. We even their counterparts in Arcadia and yet Cantana. We've been lagging behind on this for decades. This isn't the only moral issue. I've seen enough revelations in the world to understand the main driver of any change: money. She opened her folder and started pulling out some documents. In the United Cantana, laws dictate that women earn the same wages as men in their respective fields. My research shows that this has led to 15.5% increase in productivity. You could say this has had a direct influence on their superpower status. Arcadia passed laws ensuring paternity leave rights, child daycare centres and tax deductions for working families. In turn, they experienced a 12%. Okay, it's good for the economy. Both countries have significant lower infant mortality rates, a stat that I believe directly linked to improved states of women. As administration has thus far failed to pull Sordland out of its economic recession. He leaned back in her chair. So I'm asking, why not try passing similar laws, or at worst, even if they failed to improve the economy, it would still be a significant step forward in our society. Sounding logical. Handed me one of the documents, had a list of bullet points on it. The two of us talked it over, and these are measures we believe are most urgently needed. I let my eyes wander down the list. Criminalising domestic violence. I should have I shouldn't have to tell you this is crucial. It's utterly unbelievable that in the day and age soldiers are legally allowed to beat their wives. It's a tragedy. I'm happy we see on the same page. As incidences of are especially high within Bloodish communities, I would also advocate for setting up a specialist domestic violence task force in the collaboration with the Bloodish women's rights organisations. Are you sure that's something we ought to focus on? The Bloods are different, they have their own rules. But okay, I suppose that you can't let women suffer under the patriarchy no matter what their ethnicity. I agree. Yeah, interfering with Bloodish master land is enough trouble already. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Nodded. Simply isn't fair that women in the workforce are punished for having kids. Remember that I told you about gender? Yeah, I agree with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. I don't want to reward women for choosing work over raising their children. It's true, having children never hindered my career prospects. It shouldn't hinder. I can't say that. Maybe you never. Always said you never. I don't know. Monarchy always said you never regretted giving up your career as a. I don't want to reward women for choosing work over raising their children. Yes, don't go that one. That seems to be the right one exactly. Moving on. An easy one. Largest pay gaps between women. We need less women doing the same jobs and men get paid the same wages. We should also use quotas to get more women in positions of power, for instance, boards or corporations. Eventually, narrowing the pay gaps is a far more pressing issue as it will bring financial independence to countless low-income women. We never talked about, so I always thought the more women in power, the higher status from men would naturally follow. Women are starving because they don't have a living wage. That's a damn sight more important than your friend Janice being passed over for promotion. Quotas are a terrible idea. Don't see a problem with quotas, but tackling pay cuts, yeah, I agree with that. Ooh. Grinned. You don't know how much this is for me. You're witness to the dangers firsthand. The way girls are shut out of real education unless their parents have the means to get them out of public school system, and bright minds are being lost. I won't directly demean the old system account, but Diana loves her handicrafts classes. I'm not saying we should take all away, but maybe boys should learn and get handicrafts too. Burst out laughing. Imagine more blanket and apron. I've had to consider entirely on your side. Good. These matters. That covers all subjects. What you've so far. We've made good case for these changes. I'm not sure I can risk passing these laws like circular selection. Let's just do it. That's probably a mistake. Yeah. Proceed. I want to establish a commission for women's rights to Sordland. With me, as he said, our goal should be passing and implementing a set laws to solve the problems we've discussed. As a commission spokesman, my responsibility to make speeches, organise fundraisers. I will be the face of the movement while Cara handles the groundwork. If I can show that the First Lady behind the movement, many women will feel encouraged. Cara gestured down her outfit, especially those who aren't keen on pantsuits. I organise an annual with the Commission on the Status of Women. It's going to be down hard getting your laws past Assembly. I know, but even a watered down version would be better than nothing. Good point. Good point. One more thing before making a decision. This could help silence any public's lingering questions over your former Vice President and Lydia Seno's affair. Yep, I agree with that. My decision, 0 sweets unexpectedly, I took a few minutes to think. Yep, let's just do it. What have we got to lose? Monica hug. Cara, she more comfortably. Is that over yet, Monica? Do battle this assembly. We celebrate once that is done. I'll start gathering names for the commission tonight. Documents. Leaving. Okay. Okay then. That was interesting. That's going to be another fun little adventure. Yep, we know about that. Right. This didn't happen on the last playthrough. Organise a massive online campaign awareness. Yeah, donate. To increase personal wealth. I'm in. Yeah, fine. Radical. Right, let's have a look at this. Go on, let's just do it. Here's a day I've been dreading since resignation. I was entering my office. My secretary Sylvia took my hat and coat. She was a matronly woman in her 40s, had a spotless background, assisting various Sordland Marine Palace officials. That's true. Replacing Olivia's been easy. Replacing my vice president would be difficult. Thought it takes that if a vice president failed to complete his term, new candidate were to be put forward by the members of the cabinet. After much deliberation, the list had been narrowed down to 3. Gallard, Gloria Tory, or Alban Clavin. Oh, this is a tough one. Oh, I wish I'd not done this. I wish I'd waited this for the next episode, because this is going to be a tough one, this one. To decide who would be Phil Peter Shares, I wanted to chat with one of them to make my... attack with one by one, make my decision. Lucian's first up. So... why should I meet you, VP? Part of my capabilities such as that I've evaluated my experience and capabilities as your potential vice president, objective around far the most qualified candidate. I'd advise you not only to think about your long history together, but also the many questions I helped you shepherd you through. That's also true. As a vice president, my ability to serve you, and this will only increase. Decision of a Gloria Torian marched in, Mr. President. I must say I'm not surprised at all when my name was put forward. Why were you not surprised? One does not expect a few things after spending so years. One does learn to expect a few things after spending so many years in government. Years of experience. I've been a member of Assembly for 20 years. I spent 7 years as Speaker. This one speaks for itself. I'm the only also leader of the Conservative wing of the party. You can see what I'm getting at. What are you getting at? Well, I'll be blunt. Being leader of the Conservative wing means that either if I'm Vice President, you would get more have more votes. This will allow us to pass bills more easily, especially if those bills are aligned to my block's causes. I will think about it. President, the Speaker Assembly requires principles and like stand determination for all proper conduct. Advantageous. Think about the message it would send. The first woman vice president of Sordland, the first woman vice. What support would you lose among traditionalists? Would you gain from tenfold from Swordish women? There is much to gain from selecting as Mr. President. I believe you will make the right choice. Clavin stepped in. Terrific. Why should I pick you? I'm President Forming of the party. What's on the list today is not only to catch up on more modern neighbours to surpass them. I believe we can do that, and no, I am sure. However, this will only be possible if we put aside the differences in unite as one. This is the outlook I bring to Bruce as a Vice President. Someone can excel us so to new heights. I didn't ask your opinion. What can you provide me? I didn't ask about your opinions. What can you provide me with? Very well. The fact is that if I am Vice President, reformist members of our party will more likely to support you and your causes. This will smooth passage of bills and help our administration and our country forward in record time. That makes sense. If you join the administration, I don't think that makes sense. dynamic, youthful leadership. Look at you, President, and you will become the youngest member of the Assembly and completely rejuvenated Swordlish politics. I want you to do the same. We need to be able to take the risks and make gains. That is only possible. Looking forward to trust your judgment. I lean back on my chair, think about the pros and cons of the... Oh, Jesus. I could hear Peter in my head, laughing at the absurdity of my situation, but of course he wasn't here. Right. Alright, I tell you what. Ooh, my thoughts are... Lucian's obvious because he's been with us as our strategist for ages. You know, he's the obvious one, but then he's already in the government, he's already within the cabinet as our chief negotiator, as our chief strategist rather. So if we look here, so he's already here, I've already got him. Moving from there to there means I've got to fill that up. Now, she gives us advantage of being old guard and bring the old guard with us, which is great, and my thought process was also having a woman in as vice president would also be advantageous. However, she's old guard. Alban Clavin gives us a fresh perspective into government and brings reformists with us, which is what we want. So I'm going to wait till the next episode to make a decision, because quite frankly I don't know what to do. So I'm going to leave it on a bit of a cliffhanger. Hook and tease, hook and tease. I'll leave it on a bit of a cliffhanger because I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do. I think it's between Gallard and Clavin. I think it's between those two. I think. That's my plan anyway. Right, I'm going to leave it there though. Let me know what you think in the comments. Who would you want as well? Who do you think I should go for? What would you do? Put it in the comments. Anyway, before I have, I'm one. This is one of these games that's just got just one more turn about it. So before I do that, I'm gonna go. Thanks very much for watching. I'm gonna try to stop my mouse and keyboard from all over the place. I'm gonna go. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. We're getting to the business end of this playthrough, I think. Anyway. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you thought. Let me know who you think I should be as vice president, because I've got my ideas, but I'd love to know what you think. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright, bye.